Hello, everybody, and welcome to 3D Thursday. I'm Terry, and we have Justin as well. Justin will be right back. Looks like he stepped away from his camera for a second. Sorry for a couple minute delay there. We had a couple of, it's always fun to have these technical challenges. Hey, Justin, how you doing, man? Hopefully you can hear me. Can you hear me okay? I cannot hear you, Justin. Well, it looks like we got a couple of people watching so far, and I'm hoping that Justin can hear me soon. It'll be much better conversation if we can talk to each other. I'm double checking everything on my end. Hopefully you guys can hear me.
Can you hear me now?
Yay! I can hear you. Nice.
Wonderful.
All right. Looks like you moved things around in your room a little.
A little bit. I just kind of set up in a different area to make it where people could walk past.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. Yeah.
Being right in the shot.
Yeah. I got myself a little sort of man cave here, so I get lucky with that. I'm sort of out of the way. So, how was your new year, man? We won't talk about yesterday. We'll just talk about day forward.
The New Year's going pretty decent.
Yep.
I don't know about you, but over the holidays I've been kind of in a funk where I haven't really printed much, and I've just been funding myself, doing a lot of like board games with the family and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And just haven't had much time to print.
That's cool, man. I can definitely understand that. I've been actually doing a little bit myself of that, but honestly, I've only printed things like I was doing this like mad dash right before Christmas, and we had to go up north, so I was trying to print things to go with me and all that kind of stuff. So I've been so busy with everything else that I've sort of neglected my own printers. So, but yeah, don't man, we're recording this, so now it's people are gonna know. They'll be able to dig us for it. It's like, why aren't you guys printing? We're trying to help everybody else. So,
well, I haven't stepped back from that. I have about 5 people today I've been going through assisting, and they just have lots of issues with trying to get rid of elephant's foot.
oh
get
man,
that first layer down,
yeah,
and try to adjust their flow.
I wouldn't mind adjusting my flow. Oh, you mean printing? Yeah. Yep.
I'm trying to get rid of my own echo.
Keep talking.
Hello.
No, it's kind of a cool little reverb, though. Do you have a guitar?
I do, but I can't play it worth a darn.
Yeah, mine's in my closet, but I haven't picked it up in a long time. Yep. Yeah, so I have been running across a lot of people that kind of the same thing. I think there was like an influx of people getting 3D printers for Christmas. So when I was kind of sending out all the the blasts on Facebook and Instagram and all that kind of stuff. And there are a lot of people that are like, yeah, I'll join because I just got this printer and it's driving me nuts, and I'm either going to get rid of it or you can help me. And so hopefully some of those people will show up. We've only got, looks like a couple people. I haven't seen anybody pop up in the chat yet. So, hey, if you are listening to us today, it'd be cool if you said hi in the chat just to let us know that you're there. And after that, we can have a cool little conversation. Looks like we got another viewer that just showed up, so that's cool. So,
could you toss up the messenger for me?
Yeah.
So I can read better?
Yes, I can give you a link, actually. Hold on.
Perfect.
And you can just kind of have it full screen. Hey, Gary, good to see you. Look like Dean is there, too. And, okay. Oh, did you? Oh, you did get my, you obviously got my camera. Okay. There you go. That should pop up the chat for you. So it looks like Dean, very new to 3D printing, picked up an artillery sidewinder. Congratulations, that's cool. It's a great printer so far. And I think, Justin, you like the sidewinder as well, right?
I do like the sidewinder. I got one sitting over there that has a clog that I need to get out. But I also have another one in a box that I need to get up and running.
Yeah.
So, but they're awesome little printers.
Yeah.
And they come from the factory with the mains heat bed. So there is a solid state relay that goes through and applies the actual power from your wall to the heat bed rather than using the power that's coming from your power supply.
Wow, that's crazy. I mean, cool, right? Efficient, let's say that.
Well, it'll get up to about 80 Celsius in under a minute.
Wow, man, that's nice. So, along those lines, on my Sovol SV01, when I had to replace the, what was that in, I think it must have been like November now, when I had to replace the thermistor, man, I just, side note, I want to get a 90-degree set of the thermistor in the heater, because I have a feeling that bend that it has to do to be all nice and situated inside the little cover, I think that's what eventually makes the thermistor wires just, not do so well over time. But anyway, when I had to replace mine, I got the one that was double the watts of the normal one that came in the kit. And man, yeah, it literally like heats up that hot end like twice as fast, and I'm loving it. So cool. So Dean is saying he'd like to hear more about that, and I think he's talking about the heated bed that you were mentioning. Now, is that an add-on, or that came from the factory, you said?
No, the sidewinders come from the factory with the silicone heated bed.
Cool. Nice.
So there's not very many other manufacturers go through and put those on machines.
Very cool. I mean, it sounds like a smart way to go. Otherwise, I think you're wasting a lot of energy, right? So, if I'm thinking about it correctly on the fly. No, notorious for wearing out bed cable. Ah.
That was the first thing I printed, was the bed cable.
Oh yeah, what are they called? I know what you mean. For the
not
tension.
Holder, not mount. No. I'm trying.
Yeah, man, it's that's what happens when we do it at the end of the day. All the words are used up already. But yeah, so Dean, so you're new to 3D printing. Did you get it for Christmas? Or yeah, strain relief. I think that Gary's right. I think that's what we're looking for. Did you get it for Christmas, Dean, or have you been just planning this out for some time, finally made the break for the printer? What is the, anybody know what the build volume is on the Sidewinder X1?
I want to say it's like 3x3x4.
Hmm.
I would actually have to look.
So it's a pretty decent sized printer bed.
Oh yeah.
That's exactly what the SV03 is, if I'm not mistaken.
The SV03 is 350 by 350 by 400.
Oh yeah, he was saying 334, but okay, 350. Well, yeah. So Dean, what are you planning on printing on your printer? What did you buy it for? You said you've been researching for 6 months, so that's cool. You know, I wish I think one of these days we're gonna have to take a poll, because I think I don't know if it's just a guy thing or if it's a certain type of people thing, but so many people that I know that have gotten their 3D printer had said the same thing. Man, it took me X number of months to research the heck out of it to find out what it was I wanted. And I think that's great. I'm not knocking it, because, man, that's, you know, to especially your first printer, right? Maybe maybe the second and third and 50th printer happened faster after that. But the first printer, for me, I wanted to make sure that I got something. My first printer was going to be something that I could expand if I wanted to. I could do different things with it. I could print all sorts of different types of materials. I didn't want to have the limitations that I kept reading about. And then a lot of people at work were saying, hey, you know, yeah, go ahead and get an Ender 3, which I'm not saying it's a bad printer, but you know, then they're like, and spend about half of that in upgrades, and then you'll have a good printer. And I'm like, wow, why? And it turns out it's just like what they're trying to say is you're going to save yourself a lot of manual labor and time by upgrading to these certain things. Now, since then, I think I've come to the conclusion that upgrading right away is not a good idea. I'd rather see people get the printer, play with it for weeks, and understand it better. And then if you find something that annoys you, only upgrade what you need to make it better. Don't just go by what other people have said. You know, like if I would have done that, I would have gotten the Sovol SV01, and then I would have just said, you know what? Let's start off replacing the hot end. Let's get a better nozzle. Let's do this. Let's do that. And I'm so glad I didn't do it right away. So I learned a lot in that meantime, and I think that was meaningful. All right, Dean says, well, half a piece, and I know that person showed up last time, and I'm trying to remember.
That's
I need
me.
to. Oh, that's you. Okay, I was gonna say, man, because that I know I've seen that name before. Now I know why. I gotta have a little cheat sheet with everybody's handles or something, except for Dean. I'm a hobbyist dabbling in electricity and electronics, mainly for making project boxes to house power supplies, Arduino projects, and anything else related to test equipment. That's pretty cool. Finding out many more uses. Yeah, go to Thingiverse. But yeah, that's awesome. What do you model in, Dean? I'm just curious. So, Justin, since I know we both talked about like having a little break from printing since Christmas.
I'm so
Okay.
sorry.
You got to get some machine oil in it, or silicone. I was considering the Sovol SV02. Really wanted a direct drive printer. Yeah. So, and you guys can't. Okay, I got to apologize. I keep looking over here because this is my camera that's still staring at me, but it's broken today. It just broke right before this. So now I'm looking at my little webcam. Sorry. Normally with that camera, you'd be able to see my printer behind me. Now I got to pick this up and bring you over so you can kind of see. I got my Sovol SV02. This is so ghetto. I'm sorry. I got my Sovol SV02 on the left and my Sovol SV01 on the right there. And I'll show you, I'll pick up some of the things there, but you can see Bowden tube and direct drive to Dean's point. And let's see if I can get this back. All right. Yeah, so my SV02 was my first Bowden printer, and definitely had a little bit of learning curve there because I was so used to what I always had considered a nicer way of printing with direct drive, right? But I guess they just have their own uses. Would you say, Justin? I mean, they're maybe not one is better than the other, but they serve different purposes.
Really, I have more Bowden setup printers than I do have direct drive. They both have their place.
Yeah.
Especially with like larger machines and that you're trying to get max speed out of. The Bowden you can't beat without having all that extra weight right there on top, sliding back and forth.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. I definitely agree with the weight, and that is definitely one thing I was even trying to decide. I think we talked about this maybe last time or last time. But I was trying to add some lighting to my printer, and I know that LED light strips aren't heavy, and there was something else I was going to add to it. I can't remember, but I'm like, you know what? Just it goes against my nature to say I want to add more weight to this print head. So I came up with a different solution for it. But yeah, I know that if you're trying to get like everything locked down tight, and I believe in this, like when you're tuning your printer, and Gary, I see your question here. I'll answer it in a second. When you're tuning your printer, make sure that everything that doesn't move, right? I mean, lock it down tight without breaking anything. Yeah, I think as far as like just going around and making sure that everything is light on that print head, and Justin, you had a solution for reinforcing the height of that gantry, right? So I think you did carbon fiber rods or something, right?
Yes, I used some 500 millimeter by 12 millimeter carbon fiber rod, and then I went through, made the mounting system. I actually just picked up another set of the rods for the SV02.
Ah, cool. Yeah, same size, right? Boy, 4,000 to 5,000 hours from you. You know what? I haven't actually looked, but I gotta imagine I'm pretty similar on my 01, because I beat the tar out of it for a while there. It was just really, I was waiting for the thing to light up. I guess we shouldn't joke about that, right? Because that's dangerous.
You better knock on some wood.
Yeah, if I believed in that kind of thing. So, to that point, we had a little conversation sort of offline recently about some of the printers that come with tinned lines in the power supply going to the main board, right? And
that is an absolutely terrible idea to have tinned wire.
Yeah,
and a screw down terminal.
And I'm looking right now for, I thought I had them on my shelf right next to me. I swear I did, but I guess they're in the closet. But I was looking for my connectors. Do you want to go ahead and tell everybody what a better solution is while I see if I can grab it real quick? No, I guess it's out of sight. He's got them. Yeah, I might have locked them in the cabinet. Yeah, so Gary, about your question, how well the Sovols work long term. So I would say at least mine that I bought a year and a half ago, I guess. Again, I printed a lot on that thing. I only had one printer for the longest time. And I guess, with me, now I replaced the hot end to an all metal hot end. I went with an E3D V6, and I have the nozzle X on it. So I usually, here's what I do with the two printers. I usually keep the Sovol SV01 loaded up with a 0.6 millimeter nozzle, just so I can print faster and have a taller layer height and everything. And that's really useful for making, like, the Iron Man helmets and all those big things. And then the Sovol SV02, I leave with the stock 0.4 millimeter nozzle on it. So then I can just kind of switch. Even if I'm not printing dual color on the O2, I might just send some more fine things over to the O2 and print single color, just so that I don't have to sit there and heat tighten my nozzle and switch it back and forth. And yeah, to be honest, Gary, and we don't have any Sovolers on the chat that I know of. At least nobody's spoke up. If Heidi or Ronald or anybody may are on, but they may watch this later. But honestly, like if you look at the board that's inside the Sovol, guess what it is? It's a Creality board. And you know, it is very similar, but I tend to like the method that they use to put it together a little better than some of the Enders I've seen. And I don't know, I like the size of the bed. I like all the built-in upgrades. You know, the glass bed, the better power supply, and all that kind of stuff. So for me, at the time I bought it, it was way worth it to go with the Sovol. And yeah, they do tend to last. I know I've abused mine quite a bit. So it looks like you got your tool.
Oh, this is just a stripping tool.
Oh, okay. Oh, are you going to show us? Oh, okay. Nice. You know what? Before you do that, I can flip over to your camera live, full screen.
Give me just one more second.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm going to tin a couple wires.
Got it. And that's some action here, man. So I like, Dean, I like your sort of functional print answer for the kind of things that you were going to do. And Gary, what kind of things are you printing these days, or what do you have in mind? 'Cause I have a couple of projects I really want to get to soon that I just haven't recently. So, and yeah, if I had to pick my next, well, okay, I got to put a little asterisk in this. If I had to pick my next FDM printer, it probably would be an SV03 for me. I need a bigger volume to print on soon, so I'm hoping to get that. But I can't. I'm sure Justin will probably say something similar. But honestly, and it's been for no real reason other than I believe in it, I've recommended so many people to go get a Sovol printer that I've come across. So, you know, if and I don't say that lightly, because if I recommend it, it's because I've proven it out and I believe it's a good option. But again, that's after a conversation with somebody where I ask them, what kind of things are you going to print? Tell me a little bit about what you want to do, how much time you have to put into it, and all that kind of stuff. So there is no one best printer for everybody. Everybody, I think, by now knows that, especially people like you guys that have spent months trying to research.
The first time I researched buying a 3D printer, I spent probably 3-4 months.
Yep.
But here's the deal. I couldn't pull the trigger. At that point in time, the cheapest 3D printer you could find, you were looking at $700 to $800.
Yeah.
But that was 6-7 years ago.
Yep.
And they've come down considerably.
Man, I always wish I would have kept it around for nostalgia purposes, but back when I used to work for a company that did 3D rendering and animation software. We designed the software that people used for creating 3D graphics stuff. And that industry's largest trade show is SIGGRAPH, and every year, like 10,000 people go to the show, right? And we had a booth, and in 2001. So getting the Wayback Machine, 2001, we actually had a 3D Systems printer, you know, those large, huge, you know, like 3-foot wide SLA printers in our booth, printing some stuff that we designed in our software because we added STL output to it way back then. And it was pretty cool. It was, you guys would crack up. One day I have a poster of it, but I don't have the actual device anymore. So we printed something ahead of time, painted it up and everything, and it was a PDA. So if that rings a bell to you guys, you might be too young if you don't know what that is. But basically, it was a cool, like futuristic looking. I guess it would look like this, you know, a cell phone kind of thing. But it had a lot more curve to it and everything. It was pretty cool. It came out really great on their printer. Of course, the printers cost $10,000 or something back then. It was probably 7 or 8 grand, whatever. But yeah, it was a long, long time ago in California. We had that there in our booth. So I'd like to work with some more exotic filaments like flexible, so a TPU type of stuff. So I think dual gear is a must. Dual gear. I think what you're saying is like 2 in, 1 out, like the Sovol SV02.
He's talking about actually having 2 gears grabbing a hold of a filament.
Okay, yeah, okay. Dual gear extruders. Okay, that's okay. I got it. Yep. Nice. Yeah, that's cool.
Let me have a look and see if I can get my other camera going real quick.
Cool. And I know you'll have to send me the coordinates again.
No, I'll just hit transition.
Oh, you're going to? Okay, got it. I can see it. All right, I'm going to go full screen on you.
Put solder on the end of the wire to keep it from like fraying out, so that they can be sure to get all the strands in the correct place.
Mm-hmm.
I get the reasoning, but when you go through and you put it into a screw terminal, the solder is so hard that it doesn't like conform to the size of the wire.
Oh, I got it. Yeah.
Now, bare wire is actually a better solution than having the tin end, because what happens is when you have bare wires, you can tighten it down and those wires conform to the screw. But when you have the tinned end, you can't get it any tighter than the widest part of that tin section. So what happens is it backs off a little bit and it creates a small arc. And with every arc,
oh, man,
you get a little bit of heat.
I was going to say danger, but yeah.
In the end, you end up with burnt up boards and possibly catching everything else on fire. And I've tried getting so many manufacturers to go through and stop tinning the ends.
Yep.
And use a furrow.
I'm going to see if I can get you full screen again, but just don't talk for a second because I got to make sure we have audio. I want to make sure that scene has audio. I'm going to have to go with no, and it won't add it. I don't know. So it's not a fun thing to do when you're live. So.
The audio hasn't changed for me.
Okay. All right.
I can still hear myself echo.
Nah. All right. All right, so go ahead. You were saying about the ferro connectors. What's that?
Yeah, I don't hear. They're also called barrel jack connectors.
Yeah. There it is.
So, I'm trying to get it.
There we go. Yep, we can see it. So the whole idea is to simply just crimp that connector onto the end of it, leaving a nice flat, tightly crimped on end. And then you won't have the arcing or the problem that you mentioned, right? So
Correct. In the end, I don't know how light. I don't think I have any light over there. I think the kit was only $25.
yeah,
And I got like 1,000 of these barrel connectors
Right.
and the crimpers for them.
Yep. That's it. I think I got mine on Amazon when we first started talking about it. I'm like, okay. Man, I want to say it was like maybe $16, like you said. It was pretty cheap. But I mean, the price of putting those on your printer versus possibly having, okay, let's talk worst case for a second, a fire. And yeah, I think it's definitely worth it. So might be a good PSA to tell people to go check and see if they have tinned, or in other words, soldered ends from the power supply into that main board. And if they do, order one of those kits from Amazon and replace those ends. All right, so Dean says, what I found interesting is all the videos about mods done to the printers, especially bed leveling. I have to say that mine works pretty good out of the box. Yeah, I mean, you know what's funny? I know some people that are actually like pretty popular at certain ways of printing. They have decent YouTube channels and the whole thing, and don't spend a lot of time on that kind of deal. They claim to have hardly ever had to do anything. And that's great, right? There are some printers, you know, when I got my 01, I got to say it was before I put the E3D on it. It seemed like it hardly ever needed anything, you know, I didn't have to touch it for leveling, maybe once or twice. And then it would just stay for the longest time. But then I put the E3D V6 on it, and you know, modified my fan duct so that it, you know, because of the height difference and all that kind of stuff, and it seemed like I needed to play with it a little more. And at that point, then we added the BL Touch to it, and I just never had to think about it after that. So it was. I remember having a conversation with you before, Justin, saying, you know what, everybody's talking up this BL Touch, but I don't seem to have a need. And you're like, then don't get it. But you know, look at. You're trying to do a little Scott. I'm trying to count. Is that 5 printers right there?
On the middle shelf, yes.
Yeah, nice. Oh, and then there's a row behind it, right?
No.
No, okay. I can't see it very well. Okay. Wow. Yeah, second printer. Gary says a second printer is nice, so you can tinker on one and actually have one printing, and that's true. Although I much prefer having both print at the same time. Let's see. A heat incursion creates more heat incursion. Go figure. Until things melt down. Yeah. Yeah, that's, man, I hate to hear about that. But I guess if people are wondering what causes it, that could do it. All right, we got to turn it around. Let's talk about something more positive and fun. So what's your next printing project, Justin, or anybody?
Well, I just had a gentleman contact me about making a little electronic enclosure for like a 1" by 3" little computer he has.
Oh, well, okay.
I think he's setting up some home automation.
Cool. Now, is that just going to be a regular PLA, or does it have to like go outside, or is it going to be PET G or?
I haven't gotten the parameters of what it needs to be yet, and I just got a picture of it right before we started this.
Cool.
I didn't get to look at it too closely.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess that is the one, speaking of different types of filament and everything, that's the one thing about having an all-metal hot end. I don't have to worry about limitations with, having to get something up to pretty high heat. I often print with PET G. That's probably about the hottest I'm getting right now, but I would like to go out and get some of the pasta, the metal-filled stuff. That's probably my next want to print some steel. Yeah, I just happen to think how cool it would it be to actually print Iron Man faceplate out of that metal. That would be pretty cool.
That would be pretty amazing.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna have to do it.
I'm gonna tell you a little story.
Mm-hmm.
My wife went through and found dragon eggs on a thing of hers, and she absolutely loved it. And then she asked if I had black glitter. So I started printing it. What I didn't realize is I grabbed the wrong roll of filament.
Oh no.
So this is about a $50 egg.
Oh no. What is it, carbon?
It is carbon fiber.
Oh man. Well, you could run it over with your truck.
And I used a brass nozzle.
Oh man. A
So
short-lived brass nozzle.
Like open spots. But you really can't tell because how smooth carbon fiber actually prints.
Wow, man, that's great.
But
Oh yeah, hold on. Let me get it full screen for a second here. That is pretty awesome. It looks great, by the way.
But then I found this little guy in Thingiverse.
Now, what is that?
And
Oh, nice.
I started mounting some of my tools up.
That's pretty cool.
I had enough carbon fiber left to make this.
Wow. Now, imagine how many of those you could have printed if you didn't print the egg.
Well, the first egg I tried was actually at 200%. This one was only 150.
Oh, man.
And that one failed about 25 hours in.
Oh, was it split by design, or is that because of the fail?
It's split by design.
Oh, okay. Because it looked like there was a lip and everything.
I never restarted it.
Hmm.
I am so sorry about this.
That's okay, man. Wow. Yeah. How much does that carbon fiber weigh? Does it weigh any more than anything else?
Not quite sure.
Yeah.
They sell by the kilograms,
Yeah.
so they don't really tell you there.
Yeah, I was just wondering if the roll was any different in size when you got a 1K. That's cool,
They're
though.
about the same, at least the ones I've had.
Yeah. Nice.
Someone mentioned on there earlier about possibly trying out some TPU filament.
Yep.
I've actually done it with Odin tube with a BMG extruder that had the dual gears.
Hmm.
It is a lot easier to go through doing a direct drive. The biggest thing is go slow.
And it doesn't like retraction,
I
right?
at about 40 millimeters per second.
Hmm.
And yeah, the retractions are very low and minimal. About half of what I normally do. For like, take for instance my SV01. My average retraction distance is 0.75 to 1.25 millimeters. And if I'm going through and doing this, I might drop down to 0.6.
And then, of course, you're probably going to do things to minimize, like in your slicer, you're probably going to do things to minimize retraction anyway, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
You don't want to retract after every layer change.
Yep.
Cross open areas.
What is it? Coasting? What's the other? Look.
Coasting, extra primer mount.
Yep.
Retraction distance.
Yeah, the travel or void distance, and yep. Combing. That's the word I was looking for, actually, not coasting. That's something else. Coasting is at the end of the run. But yeah, combing is what I was thinking. Yep. Very cool.
So Gary and Dean, where are you guys from? How's the weather down there in Florida?
Man, okay, so it's, I don't want to rub this in because it's pretty great, right? It's, boy, according to the watch, it's 64 degrees right now. But it was about 70, 72, and that's like our typical winter weather. But I was just up there in Michigan over the Christmas week, and it was so bitter cold. For me, right? Because I'm not used to it anymore. But when I was visiting the folks, it was just like it was super windy, and it was, I don't know, I think it was like maybe 5 degrees with the wind chill or something like that. So, but yeah, it was right now down here. It's been pretty good. I've had to cover some plants because at night it was getting down to like 40, and the type of plants that I grow down here, they're not too happy with that. So, how's it been up there, man? Any better in South Dakota? Oh, by the way, to answer your question, I'm in Orlando area in Florida.
And Dan's in the middle of Georgia. Gary's in Alberta, Canada.
Yeah. Right up north.
I actually live closer to Gary. I'm in South Dakota.
Yep.
And it's been, I don't know, South Dakota is such a weird state with temperatures. Last week, it was like 20 to 30 degrees all week and 60, 70 mile an hour winds.
What? That's like almost hurricane, man.
No, that's just normal.
That's awful.
But this week, it started off like that, and then today was like 60. It flops around so much.
Yeah, that's like Detroit, man. It just if you like the weather, just hold your breath. Don't get used to it, right? What is it? Transplanted Minnesotan. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, Minnesota. It was funny. We had a consultant here one time, and they flew in from Minnesota, and it was, I want to say it was November, December, something like that. And it was 80 degrees here when he left to get on the plane. And he said when he got home, it was 20 degrees. That's 100 degrees difference, right? So, or something crazy like that. Or it was negative 22. So it was 100 degrees difference. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. No thanks. Yeah, I told myself I would never have to dig my car out of the snow again when we moved down here. But yeah, I didn't, at least when we rented the car, it came with a scraper. I didn't have to get a credit card out. Yep.
I'm surprised they didn't sell them on the way out.
Yeah, I know. Me too. Oh, man. Yeah. Although I was kind of disappointed, I didn't see the T-shirt in the Detroit airport that said, "I'm so bad, I vacation in Detroit." I probably would have gotten one.
What other big projects do you have going?
Okay, so my next, well, okay, I know what you're asking, but I'm going to answer something else. My next project is going to get to be getting my resin printer going. So I just got and it's still, I can see it. It's still in the box. I have not unboxed it yet. I'm waiting to get all the stuff together to do the cleaning and curing and all that kind of stuff. So the wash station and the cure station. As soon as I get that, though, I'm going to pop the box open, and I have the Voxelab's Proxima, which our buddy Trevor turned me on to because, man, I was looking around at everything. But I did want to do my requirement was I wanted to get a mono printer. I wanted to, I don't know if you guys know much about resin printers, but I was doing my research, like we talked, and everybody that I talked to said, yeah, if I had to get another resin printer right now, I'd make sure it was a mono screen because they last like 2 to 3 times as long, and it prints about 2 to 4 times as fast because it doesn't have to filter the RGB light that comes out of the standard screen. So yeah, that sounds pretty smart. So that's what I picked up, and it was like $209 on Amazon. So and by the way, like everything inside, I was looking at that. Man, I'm losing my Anycubic Photon Mono. And then I was looking at, of course, the Mars 2 Pro. All those are mono, but man, the Mars 2 Pro was like about $300, and I want to say the other one was right in between. So yeah, it was right. It was right at the low end, but like everything inside the printer is just about the same, right? So why not? Is Trevor's point. So I took it, and I've been like stalking everybody on the Voxelab's Facebook forum, and everybody seems to really love the printer a lot. So I'm kind of glad I got it, even though I haven't printed on it. But the reason I got that is to answer your other question. I definitely am going to dig in and start printing my actual full-sized R2. So that guy requires a lot of really tiny things that, like the greebles and everything for it. Excuse me. So yeah, I think here's the thing. I don't know if you guys have tried this on your FDM printers, but getting, like, I don't know, super fine printing isn't that hard of a thing to do. Small layer heights and printing really slow and all that. You can do it, but if the parts are tiny, they're just not going to stick even to, a nice raft. And trying to get them off the raft is a real pain. And tiny parts are just really difficult for FDM printers. It's not really the fine, I could live with the quality that comes off of it if it was an inch long, right? But if it's super tiny parts, man, it's just super difficult. So why not use the right tool for the job? And I got myself a resin printer, so that's why. I'm gonna print the big parts in the big printer and the little parts in the little printer.
There you go.
Yep. And what kind of resin printers do you have? I know you have some.
Anycubic Photon Zeros.
Yep.
And they're all right. I haven't really jumped headfirst into resin printing.
It's messy.
I made a few small parts that I needed. One was to fix my washer.
I remember that. That was cool.
The little pin broke off to let you know that the door was closed,
yep.
So it wouldn't lock. And it was going to take 7 days.
Wow.
To go through and get my washer up and running. And I ordered the part.
Yep.
And I was able to get it done in 2 days.
Nice.
And it's still going strong.
Nice. That's awesome. What kind of resin do you use for something like that? The ABS type? Or?
Honestly, it was just PLA.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it's on the exterior of the washer.
Oh, I know it. Yeah.
So it's not really in the hot part.
Yep.
And really all it's doing is pushing a little part
Yeah, onto the switch, right? Yeah. Yep.
It's a normally open switch. No, normally closed switch.
Yeah. Yep. Very cool. So you just got some calipers out and made that. I remember seeing it. So Ed says, which one? I think I mentioned it, but it's I got the Voxelab's Proxima. So yeah, if you're interested, it seems to be a good printer. I'm gonna do a full review on it, of course. And then I'm waiting for the LD006. He says, and yeah, I saw that announcement, and I don't know. I mean, it seems like it's like $500, but it's supposed to be a pretty decent sized printer, right? So, I just don't know. I'm not yet sold on getting a terribly large, meaning way more expensive, like more than twice the price of a normal size printer. Although I do understand why some people want them. I get it, especially for prototyping and of course just larger things in general. But hey, should ask you guys, did you guys oh, here's some of the I told myself I was gonna show you guys some of the things I printed for Christmas to take up. So big fan of Disney, so I printed some of these little ornament things. So it's funny, somebody I know just created, this was a PNG that just said, hey, couldn't you like 3D print this? I'm like, yes, I can. So I brought it into Blender, extruded it, and printed it. And then I took this and made it a dual color print. It wasn't when I got it on Thingiverse, but printed it on the O2. So been handing these out to my friends. So brought some up to my family. They cracked up. And then I was going to ask you guys, did you guys, have any of you seen the video on this guy that I did? This is a single print, not glued together or anything like that, but if you guys have seen the video, you'll know what I'm talking about. But the tail here, the fire part of the tail, actually changes color. It's thermochromatic, so it changes color as it gets hotter. And that I printed on the Sovol SV02 as a kind of like a challenge. Somebody came to me and says, yeah, dual color printer, can I just tape it off and spray paint it and everything? Why do I need a dual color printer? I said, because, I'll find a reason, because now you can do cool things like this. You can print different types of materials together. It's not just all about the color, it's about functionality and everything too. So you can start to think about, as long as you're within some kind of parameters on heat, you could do things like wood and plastic together, or maybe some metals and stuff. So, yeah. Let's see what else. Oh, did this a while ago. This was kind of a fun little test. This was my little prototype. I don't know if you guys can see it, but this little ball inside of the little mesh was all one print because the ball spins around, right? It turns inside of there. But it also has, if I can find a good place to show you, I printed the Sovol logo on the front of the ball at the same time. So that was all one print too. I think I have a bigger version. Yeah, here's a bigger version of it. Easier to see. So you can kind of, where is it? It's kind of like a ball in a cage. And I was just thinking about it. The only thing that kind of stunk about that actual print was the actual cage part of it. So I was sitting there thinking, why don't I do something like this, which is much easier? Why don't I just go ahead and create a simple mesh? I thought, what, I'll just create a box. But a box is boring, so I had to twist it, right? So I figured this would be a fun print to see how it does on the O2, where I can take this now and say, what, I want this one to be a different color, and see how that prints. The only interesting part is ever the bottom of a sphere, trying to print it, right? So I think I'm going to end up having a result to, I don't know. I'm trying to understand if I should try and just do a brim or skirt, or if I should go raft on it, but I'm probably going to go raft. The only problem is spheres on the bottom of a raft end up looking like this. And of course, it's harder to get in and sand that because everything else isn't sanded on the sphere, right? So I don't know. I'm gonna think about it a little bit before I actually print it. What do you got there? Looks like a skull.
It is a skull.
That's pretty cool. Now that's rainbow?
Yes, this one was like a G-Tech rainbow.
Hmm.
I've tried all different kinds. Honestly, to keep going back to day one,
Yeah.
I've tried about 8 different manufacturers, rainbow filaments, and they just beat them hands down.
So yeah, the everyone, is that what you're saying? So that one, I remember you talking to me about that before. Now, what do you look for in the rainbow filament? What is your particular like? Because I know like they have some that are like faster transitions and other ones that like kind of spread it out more.
It depends on what you're making. One of the biggest issues with rainbow filament is it taking so long to transition. So when I do use it, I try to go through and use bigger projects. Like I do this hidden key secret box.
Oh yeah.
Where you had to find the key,
yeah,
and then you'd unlock it, and all of it was printed, except for one spring that came out of a pen.
Hmm. Oh wow.
And I just went through and laid all the parts out, and I started from the bottom up, so I could go through and plan the color changes. But I went through and loaded my build area so that more items would be the same color, and I would see more of a transition.
That's cool. Yeah, yeah. Oh man, I just saw somebody. Speaking of that, I just saw a. I think it was on Instagram or something. Somebody printed a chess set, and what they did is they laid out all the pieces on the bed, so that they printed each side all at once, and the transition was exactly the same, right? So they'd go and print each piece a layer at a time, and then as it went up, it was exactly the same rainbow. And then they switched the filament to another one for the other side. It was pretty cool. It was nice.
That does turn out really awesome. The only sad thing is if you have one failure.
Oh yeah, I know. Now you've got a whole set full.
I had one pawn that fell off. And now,
yeah, try and reproduce that. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, that's true. So I guess you know how sometimes you're sitting there just watching the bed, man. Wow. Yeah. So Ed was saying, yeah, make a little volcano. This way the orb sits in it. Not a bad idea. And actually, if you look at, let me flip back. If you look at this, there's actually room where the sphere could actually sit down. Let's see. Do I have it right? No. So normally the sphere is going to sit like this, but you can do all sorts of different things with it, right? You could definitely push that down so you have room for a volcano type of setup or something like that where it could cradle it, and then but then you'd have to support all the rest of this box. So I don't know. I am definitely gonna. I guess you could just raise it up and do the volcano thing too, because there's definitely plenty of room in here. But yeah, I'm gonna have to really think through it a little bit before I do want to find a better way of printing the bottom. In fact, I did a small test before. It was just actually about this part that's shaded here. A part like that with just a raft down on the bottom seems to hold it in place enough, but I didn't print it nearly as wide as this. Was about maybe 3/4. So yeah, I'll play with that a little bit. Now, I wanted to ask anybody, you can see here I have, oh, maybe you can't because I cut that off my screen. Yep. All right. Well, I have Super Slicer. Anybody play with that? I want to get that thing to work, because for dual color printing, I had some people, quite a few people tell me, and some people ask about it recently. Like all of a sudden people are talking about it. But if you don't know what it is, it's a forked version of the Prusa slicer that they've went and modified for certain things, and it's supposed to be really good for dual color printing. So I figured, well, let's give it a whirl. but I'm still spending some time dialing it in. The nice thing is it eats up the Prusa slicer configurations. So since Sovol had one of those for the SV02, I just loaded it up. But it seems like that needs a little work, at least for my liking. So I'm tweaking that currently. The other kind of things, again, I'm still answering your question. What kind of projects do you have going on? We could sit here for an hour, but man, it's like so much of my time is making videos lately. So that's my other hobby, right? Is trying to get videos out there that are helpful. And I don't know if you guys that are on the live stream here have seen the recent one with I guess the most recent, besides the one telling you about today's live stream, was the how to add the E3D V6 to your Sovol SV01 and 03. So it seems like right after Christmas, a ton of people went and started watching that. So maybe people got their printers for Christmas and they're already looking for upgrades. I don't know. But hopefully that was pretty helpful, because that was a pretty in-depth one. I'm glad to finally get that out the door. Just, with multiple cameras and then filming that whole thing, it was quite a process. So yeah, but I do want to direct people over to our Discord, because we have a channel on our Discord, and there's a link for the Discord in the video here, so you can get it from that. But the channel on Discord is asking people, what would you like to see for our upcoming YouTube videos? And we've gotten a couple people talking there. So if you have a favorite thing you'd like to get help with, it won't be like, I think it was Dean or Gary, one of the two guys said, leveling the bed. Every video is about leveling the bed. It won't be about that. In fact, one of my, what was the name of the other? I had a video, was like, I can't remember the exact name, but it was something like printer fixes that don't involve leveling the bed. So that was a title I came up with. But it is very common. It seems like everybody, you go into these forums, and by the way, people have asked since, why Discord, dude? Why are you going to Discord? And I felt this way about it. Justin, you know what it's like. You and I both been on the sort of supporting end of helping people on Facebook groups for various different printer vendors. And it's good, because you can go there and there's definitely thousands of people that need help, and we can help them there. That's the positive side of it. But on the downside, people probably know this already. Facebook is not in the business of making it easy to find things on Facebook. So when you do searches, difficult to find things, right? It works in their favor. They want you to keep scrolling. So what people want when they look for help is an easy place to go, where maybe you even have threaded things about, like, how do you fix this? What's up with that? And you don't have to answer things 100 times. And you don't have to read through 100 different versions of something to get a good answer. So Discord, it's like Slack, and it's free, and it's nice and easy to use. And it's been proven by like millions of gamers the world over, right? So I figured it would be a good, easy thing to do, where people could go there, ask questions in different areas, and get a lot of help. So if you haven't tried it, try it, and please give us a lot of feedback. The other thing I would beg people, like everybody does, is please check out our YouTube channel and like and subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified of all the cool, helpful things that we come up with right away. But I want to make sure that what we're doing is targeted towards what you guys want. I don't want to just say, you know what, here's a fun project I want to do. It's not about what Terry wants. It's about how we can help you guys. So please do tell us what you want, and we will make it, because that's what it's all about. I mean, the reason we do these live streams is so that we can connect with the community, build up a few people that want to hang out and get better at 3D printing. So if you're stuck, if your printer broke, if you need to upgrade, if you want to get better at your craft of 3D printing, modeling, finishing, painting, all that kind of fun stuff, then we want to build that community where we can give you those answers. And I know most of what we've been talking about is either slicing or the printers themselves, but I do want to get into sanding and painting and all that kind of stuff with people and make videos on that too. So I've been talking for like 18 minutes, so I'm going to stop for a second and read the chat here. Let's see. Tube supports on corners. Yep, that's a good idea. In the beginning, as computers was becoming mainstream, every Christmas was an influx of noobs who got pewters. Now it's 3D printers and CNCs. That's true, and laser. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So Terry Cotan and Justin Drake are the culprits here live today. And which is that? Pumbaa?
This is Pumbaa, yes.
Yep. Ah, man, Pumbaa's big. Oh, I never heard the final story on the pups.
We still have 3 left.
Nice. Yeah.
And
how many were there total?
there was 9 to begin with.
Oof. Wow.
The skull design, no, that was not mine. Originally it was free on My Mini Factory until she caught somebody going through and printing her design and selling it. So now she asked for, I think, $2.99.
Nice.
For
that makes sense.
Just so she gets something out of it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yep.
You know, I've actually had it since she had it for free.
Yep. Yep.
But, you know, I still had the file, but I wanted to print it again. So I actually went through and purchased it too.
That's nice, yeah, man. That's awesome.
Just to kind of, you know, support her.
Yep.
And, you know, the more support you go through and show a person, the more they go through and give you.
That's right. Make more cool things. Hey, Gary, I see Gary's heading off, so thanks for joining us, Gary. I know we're just about out of time. It's funny, like, we always seem to end at, like, a quarter after or something like that. We always go a little long.
I want to grab a puppy.
Oh, yeah, please. Yeah. I love puppies. But yeah, you know, that brings up another point. Maybe I should wait until Justin gets back, but I got all these things in my head. Got to get them out. Yeah, there's some of the things I want to bring up too is I guess I can turn this around and show you my my light. This light, of course, yeah, low light gamut on my camera, but my little studio light that I have here is 100% 3D printed except for the light strips itself. So that was a cool little project. I'm like, you know what? Need a better light. Sure, I could buy one, but why not build one? Oh, look at that puppy. My goodness. Wow. That is a huge puppy. How heavy is that puppy?
So this is a 10-week-old puppy.
My goodness, it's a monster.
He is absolutely huge.
Yes, no kidding, man. Wow. Yeah, Ed, I will definitely share the STL. Hold on a second. My goodness.
You can find Jay to put it back.
Yes, I'm going to share the STL. Actually, I mashed up a whole bunch of stuff I found on Thingiverse. It's got a box, but more importantly, like if you know about like trying to string the lights, the LED lights, man, that is a huge puppy. How heavy is it, Justin?
Probably 30 pounds.
Wow, that's crazy, but awesome. But I was talking about my light box. So inside it's got little pegs because the light strips need to stick to something to turn corners, and I have little channels in the bottom of it. So it fits in there really nice, and I crammed a whole 16 feet of LEDs in it so it can get super bright. But the coolest thing is, hopefully you can see the remote. I bought these, I don't know, it was probably like $5 or $6 for the power supply, the LED lights, and this remote. But if you look, it can actually change color temperature here. So let's see if I can. So now now I look like the president, and now it's like a midterm blue, and then it'll turn like a really blue light. So yeah, so it's nice because I can kind of mimic what I need to do for the video. And it's super easy to put together. So I mean, the biggest thing was the box to print. That took a little bit. But then what I did is I got some clear, I might as well grab a piece of this. I got, this is actually, well, you probably can't see with the lighting. Nope. But I got some clear, in other words, transparent PLA. And I printed the top lens because I wanted it to be like a little frosted. And I just popped that right on the top. So yeah, I will send, I was going to put it up on Thingiverse, but I might. But whenever I release a video on how it came together and everything, which will probably be very soon, I'm going to go ahead and release the STLs on our website too. So just so you have them. And then reference, of course, who I took what from Thingiverse. But that was pretty cool. I like the functional stuff like that. And I wanted a nice light box. And man, the thing, I probably actually have to turn it down a little now. But yeah, I can get super bright. Yeah, thanks, Ed. Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff that I probably should end up sharing soon. But man, I got so much stuff with the video work. You know, it takes time. I don't know if anybody really sits there and thinks about it, but all these people like me that put all this stuff up on YouTube, it takes so much time. And I used to do tons of video work professionally, like, for a good number of years. So it's not like I'm hacking through it. It just still takes time to think through it, to film it. And especially like there are days when I'm here by myself and I have to film something. And think about it, if my camera's like 3 feet away from me, I need to autofocus that guy on me when I'm sitting in my chair. But I'm not sitting in my chair because I got to be behind the camera. So those days are fun. So I have a little stand-in. But yeah, that's cool. Please, that's all I do. I retired from editing, but no, I still get stuck doing them. Yeah. So, okay, Ed, I'll ping you sometime and we'll talk about how to get through this together. So Justin, do you have any good ideas for videos that we should do soon? Have you been thinking about anything? I like putting Justin on the spot so I can take a drink of water.
I see that. It's a nice drink.
Yeah, water.
As much talking as you've been doing that, I almost finished myself.
Okay, here's my other secret. This stuff right here is the bomb. So it's called Entertainer's Secret, and it's not medicine, but it helps you talk for like 10 hours a day. So have you ever wondered, like the guys on the radio that have a job talking, if they get a strained voice or something like that, they can't work. So they take that stuff and spray it and they can work. It'll get them through. They'll sound normal for a while. And then they go home and just crash. But yeah, so it's, as it turns out, I've been doing, during the day, I've been doing a lot of video and voiceover work. And then I've been doing this at night. And so, yeah, it's been long days of talking. So
I do know one of our upcoming videos, I do want to present the LPC STEM 32 rep
yes,
Wi-Fi boards that we were making, and we actually finally got a Timmy store up. So now you can actually go to the store and purchase and get it sent out. For I think we only have Ed here now.
Oh yeah, probably. I haven't actually. Yeah, you're right. We need to start wrapping. We got 3 people, but yeah, one of them might be me.
Anyway, these boards that we're manufacturing and selling allow you to put rep firmware on SKR boards and working on order ones for the Pi as well. Oh,
nice. So that's actually pretty cool because in case people don't know, the big bonus there is if you wanted to tweak something, say in Marlin right now on any of my printers, I'd have to go back into code. I'd have to go open VS Code and go through lines of code and change things and then reflash it and the whole deal. But with that kind of setup, with the RepRap setup, even on an SKR board, now you can sit there and visually basically add things on the fly, right?
Absolutely correct.
Man, that's hot. That's cool.
Literally, there's a menu on the side. You hit System. It'll bring up these files. You go to Configuration. Open it up. You find what you want to change. Change. Save. Reset the board.
Man,
Done.
that's awesome. Wow. Yeah, there are many times I'd like to do that, especially when I have to, like something simple, like having to do heat tightening, changing a nozzle out or something like that, right? Having to go through that a couple times. So, what's it? Yeah, go ahead.
A walkthrough with that.
There's a video walkthrough of that, maybe. I think that's what he's saying. But
Chris from Chris's basement. So Chris Riley.
Yeah.
Actually, just went through and did a video on them.
Oh, I see. I get it. Let me reread what he said. See, now there's a video, a walkthrough with that. Got it. Sorry, it's late. I've been at this since early. So, yeah, that's a good one. So, hey Ed, I think you should go. I do become as well. I think you should go over to our Discord into the YouTube channel and make a comment of that. Did that sound prepared? But no, seriously, I would like you to do that so that I have one place I usually go for all that kind of stuff, and I go look there. So if you haven't gone to Discord, please do. If you don't like Discord, I'm sorry, but I think you'll find it helpful. So I gotcha. All right. So with that said, I think we probably should. I'm kind of bummed because we didn't get anybody asking like help me type of questions because I so like doing that. But for those that are either watching the video after the fact or for you guys that are on right now, both Justin and I, we do so much trying to help people, messaging on Facebook Messenger or texting or calling or whatever. We do so many situations like that where we're helping people get through issues with printing or their printers themselves or learning this or that we want to reach out in these live streams and try to collect people that said, hey, if you guys could just come over here, watch our YouTube videos and ask for more, go to Discord, contact us. The whole point here is we want to help and we want to make it easier to get the help. So if you guys wouldn't mind spreading the word around about these live streams, these 3D Thursday live streams every week at 9 p.m. Eastern, and then pointing people our way, we promise we'll give them some good support and help. And that's what we like to do is we want to make sure this community grows by people getting rid of the frustration and printing more confidently, because that's the way to do it. Any industry, right? If you want to get more people creating cooler things and advancing the industry itself, then let's push the limits. Let's get people up to speed, get rid of that long learning curve that most of us had to go through, and find ways of shortening it. And people have asked if we were serious when we were talking about it, but we do want to do some Zoom-based training soon, actual classes, to the point where I'm putting together a curriculum right now so that soon we can do a beta of that. So if you're interested in going through and understanding what it would be like to go on Zoom for X number of weeks and getting together, you and your printer and me and my printer and everybody else and getting direct help like that, let us know that you want to participate. You can send an email to me, terry@creativegraphicsgroup.com, or on Facebook, like Justin said, or on Discord. Let us know, either one of us, Terry or Justin, and we'll hook you up. And we want to start that soon. So I think we can help so many people get so much better when we do these kind of things. And it's, again, not just limited to help me level my bed. It's all sorts of stuff. It could be modeling, it could be sanding and printing and all that kind of fun stuff to get the end result we all want. So, okay. Yeah, and there's, how about that, Ed? That was pretty much one long run-on set. So, but thank you, Justin, for being here today. I always love it when I have somebody to talk to. And man, I wish we could just do this as one big Zoom call so we can have like, I don't know, 10 people on the call and just chat about 3D and printing and stuff like that. But I do like the chat that we have here. So far, it'll be, so far so good, I guess. But look for ways to improve. You have any final thoughts, Justin?
I'm about ready for bed.
Yeah, right? Yeah. After a long day of working. Man, yeah. I agree. So, but thanks everybody for joining, and thank you guys who tune in after. We really appreciate all of you guys and girls. And please do reach out to us. Let us know what you want to see. And thank you all. So we'll talk to you soon.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.